I'm here today with Richard Porter, and Richard is the founder of #Quiz. Welcome, Richard. Great to speak to you.
Thank you very much, Mick. Lovely to speak to you too.
Just kick off and tell us a little bit about #Quiz then.
Sure. So #Quiz has two functions. First of which is we're very much like a cleaning business. We supply pub quiz hosts to pubs. And we've also got the alternative side of the business, which is software. So we provide software for people to host, run and play quizzes too.
Okay. And what, apart from pubs, where else are you?
We're in care homes. We're in schools, though schools that haven't banned technology. We work very closely with many charities for charity fundraising, hosting the quizzes for those people too, those clients, and sometimes they do it themselves as well, just with the software.
Okay. I mean, I'm guessing there are other suppliers of pub quizzes out there. So what makes you different and better than the rest?
Oh, there's loads. There is absolutely loads. So, I mean, you could do this with Google Docs, right? You know, anybody with a clever Excel spreadsheet can host a quiz and get answers back in. I mean, what makes us different is everybody else on the market is a game and they're selling their services as they're a game. We're selling ours as we're a tool. So we have put things in place which will allow people to generate revenue from it, for instance, which where the trialing in some of the other apps and the other software systems where they're failing is that they require a third-party payment processor to which people can play by sharing game codes and things like that. So we've kind of solved a lot of the challenges that people in fundraising, live streamers that host quizzes with delay functions, and just the person that really wants to add the extra touches themselves to how they want to run gameplay. We've given them those features so they can have the benefits.
Okay, good. And I guess the pandemic, COVID, was a bit of a challenge for you. How did that go and what came out of it at the other end?
The pandemic was awesome. Well, it was awesome for creativity, to be honest. We got shut down before the pandemic happened. So back when everybody was a little bit wary and we hadn't quite locked down yet, but the government was saying, oh, best not to go out. Obviously people weren't going out. So the pubs and places were open. But we couldn't get into them because the pubs were like, well, nobody's coming, so you might as well not turn up and we can save some money and you can just not get paid. So initially the pandemic was really, you didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going to happen. But as soon as we went into lockdown, we realized that there was an opportunity to go viral and go over Facebook and host quizzes to the masses, because we hosted a lot of quizzes. We have a lot of customers that just play. And we kind of wanted to give a bit back as well at that time, because nobody knew what the future was going to hold. So we hosted the first couple of quizzes and we went really viral, and we broke every single software that we could find that was on the market. So we ended up going viral again and using Google Docs, which at the time it suited a purpose, but we knew at that point we had to do something a little bit different. And that's when we decided to build our own software so we wouldn't have the same sort of challenges again in future.
So it was as a result of COVID that you started building the software?
Absolutely. Prior to COVID, we didn't have the need for any kind of software. We rocked up with pens, papers. We did traditional route quizzes. We also used a couple of the app-based platforms that were out there for if anybody wanted the interactive version of a quiz, but none of them were really suitable when we had to go online in a digital age.
All right. Okay. So what does the future hold then? What are the challenges and opportunities ahead for you?
Well, the opportunities ahead are kind of in the quiz land, and I understand it's a little bit niche, but in sort of app-based entertainment, we've now become the pioneers of, and we're developing all the time, and the ideas are always ticking to create something new. We're moving more away from the big structured quiz events, we're basically passing that over to people that license our software. So we have less people to manage, shall we say. So we're reducing our level of staff. We're also moving more into microtransactions rather than lengthy monthly subscriptions and things like that, because people are very casual in the way that they want to game, the way that they want to host. While it's nice getting a big figure for somebody over a year, that initially scares them off. So we're licensing for 24 hours or per game now, which seems to be much more popular with people that want to host a quiz or host a kind of a bingo-y kind of event.
Okay, so lots of change going on.
I think it's always changing. Just the infrastructure is always changing. Technology is always changing. People are always changing. Life around us is always changing, and you've got to be on your toes to foresee the change. I mean, one of the biggest things that we're trying to work with at the moment is ChatGPT, and how we can get that to write acceptable quiz questions for people, not necessarily for us hosting a massive corporate, but people want to be able to access and not have to do the work. And if ChatGPT can do that for people, so that would give them an opportunity to host, say, for instance, a Disney content quiz, then that would definitely be something that I know that a lot of our customers would be interested in.
Mm. So what all this change, what challenges does that bring to you and your business?
to me, being a technical nobody means that I have to rely upon other people's wealth of knowledge, and they guide me, and they're teaching me all the time about the different code languages and what things should be written in, and basically what things do, even down to the real basics of, I don't understand any of this. How does that benefit me and my business or my customer? And they're teaching me all the time. So yeah, it's just the landscape always does change.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Along the journey, because how long have you been in this business now? 18 years, is it?
Roughly, yeah. I think trading since 2005.
Yeah.
We incorporated, I think, in 2015, because the first few years were just me on my own, doing my thing, doing a very good job. And DJ Richard Porter's quiz nights needed to expand and become something bigger. And that was obviously when #quiz was born. Went through a very challenging process of having to work in a positive cash flow because nobody would let me have any money. And built really from the ground up by just hard work and sweat and tears.
So what have you learned about yourself along the way, Richard?
I've learned I'm very resilient to mental health problems, but maybe not so much burnout. Burnout has been definitely a bit of a challenge to overcome. I've learned that stress is very difficult to tolerate at the last minute. So in our business, we have many last minute problems, whether it be a server goes down, somebody can't turn up to work, we're letting a customer down or something like that. And that needs to be managed within oneself, because otherwise oneself will start pacing up and down, screaming, shouting, and it doesn't help anybody really, to be honest.
Yeah. And with the benefit of hindsight, Richard, what might you do differently if you had the opportunity to do so again?
I don't want to sound negative, but I would trust less people and not rely upon quite so many people. I wouldn't give over the financial role if I had to do it all again. That has caused problems in the past, not with theft, but with once people see how much money you're making, they feel entitled to some of that money. And that's when the awkward questions get asked about ridiculous pay rises, because they think if you're making it, I should be making it. I didn't make it, the business made it. It wasn't all my money. And kind of things like that. I'd definitely learned earlier that I can wear so many hats, but I can't wear every hat. even though I had to wear every hat, not every hat is suitable for yourself as a business manager, business owner. Certain functions you definitely have to pass off.
Yeah. So you can't do everything, but be careful who you get into do the things you can't do.
Well, yeah, exactly. But make sure you're on top of the finances, make sure you're on top of your forecasts, make sure you're on top of your profit and loss and cash in the bank. The most important thing is cash in the bank. P&L less so. It's how much money you've got to operate with is definitely where the key topics on that one.
Brilliant. Thanks, Richard. That's great advice. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mick.